Hello everyone, my name is Leo. Thank you for watching the video. Decided to do a reset both on the way I play this game and the way that I record the videos. Neither way was working out for me. Chiba City just got completely out of balance. I was like herding cats trying to correct the imbalance that I created by not knowing what I was doing. So we come back to just one of the stock maps. This is River Run, I believe, if I remember the name right, and I picked it because it's got a good amount of buildable land and a good amount of natural resources in case I decide that I'm going to go ahead and exploit that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to just play for an hour and then commentate every little detail of everything that I do. Just the videos are too long, and I wouldn't want to watch it, so I don't think anybody else would want to. So what I'm going to do is just basically hit the high points. Now, one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out some where my water sewage overflow is going to go. I call it a poop pipe. If that offends anybody, I'm sorry, I can't help it. And of course, if you watch my first video, you know that one thing I'm really bad about is, or good about, or however you want to put it, is making sure that my initial grid is aligned with the edges of the map, or of the tile of the map that I'm on. And that's just a quirk of mine. I enjoy doing it, so that's why you don't have to. You can make it work perfectly well without doing it. Now, another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this road over 20 squares down from where my straight road that I initially made up there, because that straight road is going to be marking the absolute border limit of where I'm going to build at. I like having that little bit of a buffer zone in there, because later on, of course, I'm going to want to put in some train stations and things like that. And I'm not a big fan of going out and mass destruction of whole areas. And I might wind up having to do that. I mean, I learned from the last video, so maybe I'll learn from this one too. Hopefully, I will. Um, I wanted to, and I also like having the grid in place first, the little road grid a little bit, so that when I lay out my pipes and my initial power lines, I have those straight too. And like I said, that's just me. It's one of the reasons I like city builder games. They kind of let me have indulge my OCD. I put the power plant, and that's convenient for me because I don't have to run any power. I'm not going to put in water pumps. I'm just going to use these water towers for now. And of course, later on, I might change that up. But they use the same amount of power. They use the same amount of resources. So I'm just going to stick with that. And now, here in just a second, you're going to see that I get a little bit sideways as far as my um, road building goes. So, or grid building, I kind of get off track of where I wanted to be. So you're going to see kind of a rough cut here as I fix that. Anyway, so we're back on where we wanted to be at, and so now all I've got to do is just build my grid. So I'm going to be running this really at a fast forward pace, so that you're not sitting here just watching me build a boring old grid. And I understand that people are not big fans of building boring grids, and I enjoy a more organic look myself, but an organic look constrained within a certain kind of symmetry. You can't always do that, so you'll see me depart from symmetry here and there. But the reason I start out with a grid is because at the beginning, uh, you really need to maximize your resources, because you can run out of money, and if you forgot one little thing, if you forgot to run water or power out to your one of your water resources, or if you forgot to connect your city to the main highway and you don't have any money, then you just have to start over, because you don't get any loans until pretty much later on in the game. Um, and plus, this makes it easy for me to kind of organize how I want the city to be. All right, well, we've got our basic grid in place, so we start plopping down some residential zones. The tweeter goes off, hooray! The water pumping is going good. They're happy about that. It goes off again. They like the power plant. Well, they like the power. As you'll see here in a minute, this guy's going to say he loves the smell of the burning fossil fuels in the morning. I can't tell if that's sarcasm or what. Our commercial demand is going up a little bit, so we're going to put in a couple commercial zones, and we're just going to kind of let this bump. Boy, that cloverleaf sure looks busy. I'm not sure. Well, that's not my problem yet. Now, it may become my problem as I expand on into the game. We're getting some industrial demand, so we're going to plop a zone or two in here. See how that kind of works out. And I'm leery of plopping too much, but I kind of learned my lesson, I think, about not having enough workers for my jobs. So we're going to make sure we got plenty of jobs available. And I'm instead of trying to balance both of those, I'm just going to go by my demand bars. Well, we've got pretty good traffic coming into our city. Things are looking good. Can't complain about this, except people. I'm going to change these to one-way roads just to make it a little more efficient, and to set the pattern for future. Well, we got our little hamlet, 460 people. Now, as soon as we get Little Hamlet, of course, what we're going to do is we're going to raise these taxes up to 12%. Now, I don't know from personal experience if this is how you're supposed to do it or if this is the best way to do it. But from what I've read, 12% is a pretty good tax rate. It doesn't make people too mad, and it really increases your revenue. Industrial demand is not real high, so we're going to plop one zone there. Man, look at that traffic on that cloverleaf. I don't know what's down at the other end of that road, but we might. We're going to have to go see what that is eventually as we unlock the rest of this map. We got our little industrial section going on there. We got our residences going. They're complaining about some trash piling up, so we're going to put in a landfill. I'm going to put it as far to the edge of the map as I can, but I don't want to really tear down any of my existing industrial, so we're going to just put it a little closer to the residential area than normally I would. Now, I'm not really worried about any of this getting too close to the residential area because I'm using my commercial as a buffer. This is a very dense area here. It's going to be really dense, but I'm probably going to keep it as low density. So when I say dense, I don't mean that that it's high density zones. I just mean that it's very compact. Everything's really jammed in together, using every single available bit of land that I can. But I'm also going to leave some land open at the edges because what happens? Oh, there we go, Worthy Village. Population of 900. We get a couple things for that. Anyway, because you run into things where you want to put in a train station, or you need some land for some kind of structure that you didn't plan on. Like I said, I've been playing this game less than a month, and there's just so much about it that I don't know. Trying to keep up with our demand for our industry, which is demand for pollution. So you got to always keep an eye on that. You got to keep the pollution away from the green people. The blue people don't seem to worry about it too much, but we'll have some commercial zones that are a little further away from the industry, so that if people want a better shopping experience. Well, there's somebody complaining because they want some health care, so we're going to plop some health care in here after we put in our fire stations. Now, fire station or firehouse, I put that real close to the industry because even with the firehouse right in the middle of industry, there's still going to be high risk. And then we plopped our medical center. And now they're complaining that they want a school. So we're going to put a school here. And education, I think, is very important in this game. Because you'll see before very long the commercial guys are going to be complaining they don't have enough educated workers. So I'm going to put in the education early. Now, this is one of the tricks that I learned off of YouTube. You pull these pipes out to a build cost of 440, as far as you can go on 440, and that gives you a maximum coverage for the minimum number of pipes. So max coverage, minimum cost, and that's what we're always looking for. Now, I'm not having to worry so much about money now. We've put our city on a paying basis, so now we can just expand. Now, I'm running out of room over here, so I'm going to go ahead and pull my 15 square. Oh, there we go. Population of 1,400. Parks and Recreation. That's very important. Anyway, pull that out 15 squares so that I can get my buffer zone, and then we're just going to pull this on out, and we're going to build this area up. Now, you'll notice that we're running out of room on over there where our industry is. So I'm already starting to think about where I'm going to expand to. I'm going to keep this as a little bedroom place over here. Got to pull some power over. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit page up so I can make that pylon taller to get over this slightly raised area of highway here, and then page down again, which brings it down to normal level, and then pull that all the way down there to the end. So everything that I build along that edge will have access to power. We've always got to watch those demand bars. Popped another industrial zone. Now here I'm getting it right to the edge. Pull it over here, join it up to the main grid. That way I'm even more efficient with the number of pipes that I put out. And there's a built-in mod where you can have unlimited money, and that kind of seems a little well, people are worried about crime, so we got to put in a police station where we're going to put it. It doesn't really much matter where you put it at this stage of the game, because police protection goes a long way. Well, we've got still lots of demand for residential, so we're going to go ahead and plop that in there. Look over there, see if anybody's complaining about anything that we can do anything about. And our crime problem is going away. All right, good deal. They're wanting some commercial zones, so we're going to plop in some commercial here. Just going to put it right there, keep it as a buffer zone. And I thought about putting some there along the riverfront, but I think I'm going to come back later and do a little more, develop that riverfront, because there was a patch. So prior to a particular patch, I'm not sure exactly which one it was, you didn't get any real kind of land value buff for building along waterfront like that, but now you do. So I'm keeping that as a place to like maybe put in a little nicer neighborhood. Now we're going to pull in some commercial over here, give these people a little more shopping opportunities. You notice that I stopped at 1 square away from that road coming in. I'm leery of traffic going to the commercial area that might be right there on that road and blocking up this, which for now is going to be one of our main thoroughfares, so I don't want to do that. We're going to give everybody smoke detectors, try to keep that fire problem down. And now I'm worried about my land value, so I'm plopping some parks and stuff. I just watched a video about the asset editor, and none of these parks really meet exactly all of my needs, or the supplied parks don't meet all of my needs. So I'm going to make some custom ones, assets. After I finish this video, I'm going to play with that. I really like that. All right, we still have a lot of demand for residential. These guys' property values are low, so we're going to plop some park in for them, and we're going to put some park in for these people up here, so that we can keep these land values rising. And you want to keep your land values rising, because the higher the land value, the higher level that the buildings in the zones will be, and the higher level the buildings are, the more people that can live there, the more people that can work there. It's just again, it's just more efficient use of resources. One of these days I'm going to come through and I'm going to build a town that I'm going to base on the town I grew up in, and or they weren't really worried about efficiency, and just kind of, well, I won't say based on that town, but inspired by that town. Now here I'm doing the same thing with the little residential spot there that I did with the commercial, keeping it 1 tile away from the road. They're still demanding commercial, but I'm a little leery because I don't have any educated, or very many educated workers. Oops, we forgot to put in some water over there. So let's we'll check our water supply, and it's a little bit low, and we don't have all of our pipes supplied over here, so we need to continue our water grid. bring it down 440 as far as I can go with 440 build cost, drag it across, and it perfectly matches up. Now those complaints go away, which is really, really good. We don't like complaints. So we're continuing our grid now, continuing expanding our residential zone. I'm going to just put as many residences in here as we can stand, and then make sure that we've got room for our industry. Now you see our land value is still low. Anywhere it's white, it's low. So we're going to invest a little more in some parks. And I want this area to have some, it's near the waterfront, so I want it to kind of have a little bit of a leg up. So I'm going to plop a pretty good sized park in there. And let's go ahead and develop a neighborhood over here. Excuse me. And I'm going to follow the contour of this river, which isn't really hard. We've used the freeform road tool. I'm going to try to bring it in where I'm not intruding too much on the existing grid over there. And I don't care if they can't really build 4x4 structures near the river. I want that to be, I want that to be smaller houses and, a little more of a of that kind of a neighborhood. Now, of course, trying to match these roads up, I like my intersections to come in at a 90-degree angle regardless when I'm connecting to the grid. So there, now we've got some room down here. We've got water to it. We've got a little bit of, oops, well, got to go back and fix that. We unzoned that. But look how quickly the industrialists were in there jumping on that. Boy, they were just all over that. All right, so now here's my little riverfront neighborhood going in, all nestled around that park there. So this ought to be some pretty good land value going on over here near the river with that park. It's not going to be a rich neighborhood, but it's going to be bordering on upper middle class because we've got that park right there. Don't see any complaints going on, and we are now a boom town, and we got 2,600 people. We got some specializations opened up for us, but we have this recreational use city policy. No downside to it. I think the Colorado and Washington State experiments with that have shown that there's no downside to it. So I'm glad that the game reflects that. So we had to put in a school in for our new neighborhood over there, and we're going to go ahead and put in a high school now that we can. So that, because like I said, I know those commercial guys, looks like they're already complaining about not having enough educated workers. So we're going to slow down on the commercial, on filling in the commercial demand. We're only a couple hundred jobs short, or we only have a couple hundred jobs that we don't have people for. So we're balancing that a lot better than we did in Chiba City. And I'm going to come back and redo a Chiba City one of these days. But I just wanted to kind of get some videos out where I can learn a little bit more better about how this all works. And we're going to continue developing this riverfront area, bring the road back around here, and again, I'm going to have to fiddle with this a little bit just to get it just the way that I want it, where it'll come right in. There we go. And we're going to reserve that for commercial. I might put a little industrial there right on the edge just to improve. And they're complaining, boy, they don't have enough educated workers. Well, we're working on it. We've got the schools built. We've got some industrial demand. We're going to go ahead and fill part of that. Because right now, with not enough educated workers, I'm not gonna build a lot more commercial until we start satisfying their requirements. And it takes a little while. Pop education, it doesn't just immediately right away. Suddenly you have a bunch of Einsteins on your hands. It takes a little while. We're going to pop in this residential, give them plenty of space to build, make sure they've got water. And then we're going to come over here and look at our zoning. I'm going to put in some industrial here, I think. Check our job situation. We're doing pretty good. We're only still holding about a couple hundred jobs more than we have people. But man, that unemployment rate, that number just doesn't make any sense. I guess they've got, the seniors and the kids piled in there with that. We're going to build a little commercial, not much. We're going to concentrate right now on filling our job requirements with industry. And starting to look at the other side of the river. Before we go, though, we're going to check our education, make sure that we've got the things that we need. We're going to, and our fire coverage, they needed fire coverage over there. And see had to tear down a commercial building because he abandoned it because he didn't have enough workers, or enough educated workers. And continue this grid here. Make sure we've got plenty of room for our people to live. Drag our water down 440. Pull it across, join it to the rest of the grid. And I guess you'd just call me a completionist. When I play other games like MMORPGs, I'm a big fan of doing everything in a zone before I move on to the next zone, which is why I'm not a raider. Now, since our new residential area over there is starting to expand, we're dragging another thoroughfare over. And yeah, those guys are abandoning those buildings. We'll put in a little industrial there. I've run out of room for industrial, so yeah, we're going to have to go across the river. No doubt about that. Oh, we're not putting in a botanical garden. Let's put this in. Can't put it in there. Nope, nope, nope. Well, we'll put it about right there. There we go. Now, our industrial land value is still a little low. We'll come back and address that later. What are we missing over here? Why are these people orange? Oh, they don't have any parks. So we put some park on them. Start looking here. Yep, we're gonna have to start expanding on the other side of the river, our industry over there. So pause the game, give me a chance to think, and here we go. Let's go ahead and just start pulling this road over. It's going to be a one-way road, so we'll pull it straight over to our new cross street. We'll pull that out to about there, I think, and then we'll come back and do the other side. And this is, you know, I wish that there was a grid system visible at all times, so that you wouldn't have to, you know, kind of guess, poke and hope, what we used to call it, and then come back and read and adjust the direction of the road. But that's, you know, that's a minor quibble. I'm not going to worry about it. All right, I want to build a nice, beautiful curved bridge. I don't want just a straight, you know, bridge coming through here. So of course this is going to upset the symmetry of my grid, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about that. Now I'm going to be real careful about how I place this, because I want to maintain the spacing between these two roads, so that you know, if I do bring some railroad in between them, which I want to, or that's what I'm hoping to use that area for. So let's put some crossover road between these two, and let's drag this on down the side of the river here, and we're going to keep it pretty straight. Come up to about here, and then make sure we've got everything set there. No, going the wrong way on the bridge. There we go. All right, so people can get in and out of this area, no problem. Now, what are we going to do here? Let's follow the curve of the river a little bit, kind of make this a little more of a scenic thing. There's going to be we're eventually wanting to get over to where we're going to have the industrial, but we're also going to have some residential and commercial along this road too. Now, of course, this raises a problem. It's a long dang way from where this bridge comes across to where that industry is, and we've done a pretty good job of managing our money, putting that road in to preserve our 15 square buffer zone. Now this is where I'm going to plop the new industrial, but I'm going to have to get the traffic, I think, over here a little bit, a little more directly than having to go through across that bridge over there so far away. So lay in some water so these guys can start building the industry, because we've got a pretty good industrial demand right now. We'll keep going with this, bring it across all the way up to here, and that's that little stub there just money, so we move it across the highway. He's got no power yet, but he will as his buddies build in there. So we're going to put a bridge in here linking the industrial area, and there's some slopes here. So this is going to take a little bit of poke and hope and trial and error kind of thing. See how that works, and put that in there, and yep, too much slope. So Well, instead of coming from that end, let's come from this end. So we'll come straight out from that road. Too much slope there. Well, how about if we take that little stub out there that we were going to build to, and let's see if we can bring just a road over. Maybe we can join it up later. Okay, 90. We try to get a 90-degree angle on. Okay, good enough. That works. Curve the road in here. Try to get that at 90. It's not going to go to 90, but close enough. Again, I like symmetry and I like nice right angles, but you can't always get what you want. Alright, so we start plopping in some more industrial here. Try to meet that rising industrial demand. Looking at my commercial, they don't seem to be complaining about very much, so apparently our education has caught up with them. So we can start putting in a little more commercial to meet that demand, because I definitely want to meet that commercial demand. I do want to move my people away from working in factories to working in shops and, later on offices. Just a lot cleaner, and I think I don't know if quality of life considerations like that really count very much in this game, but play it however you want it, and I like playing it as if it actually makes a difference. Alright, we're still doing pretty good on the jobs. We're only, again, less than 200 short there. Now, even though I do like the looks of this kind of curvy little road here, I want to get myself some, reestablish my grid pattern, just so I can have that efficiency of putting in stuff. So I turn off snapping because I don't want it to snap to the grid at this point, because I'm basically making a new grid, and there we did pretty good. It's not perfectly straight, but it's close enough. Close enough for government work. And let's not forget that that's what we're doing here, is government work. So we bring that over and up, and we've got our 20 by 10 going on again here. We're going to bring this over, bring it up, try to get it in at a 90. Yeah, close enough. Works good enough. Alright, so now we're kind of reestablishing our grid on this side of the river without having just everything being so sterile that it doesn't have any interest to it. It doesn't have any visual appeal, no aesthetic appeal. Plus we're exploiting our riverfront property, keep the land values up. Let's go ahead and plop in a bunch of industrial. That demand has been piling up on us, so we'll just plop in a bunch of that. Take a look at our jobs. We're doing okay on that. Now let's look to see how we're doing on this side. Looks like we need to expand this on out and get this ready, and I only hit 9 that time, so there's 10. Come across 10, so we can keep our 3-way intersections. And I don't know where I developed this prejudice against 4-way intersections. It's one of these city builder games that I've played, that 4-way intersections just made for horrible traffic, as you can see right there. So I try to stick with 3-way intersections as much as I can. Now you're going to have some 4-way intersections. It's just going to be, the nature of the beast, but try to stay away from those if you can. Alright, what is he? He doesn't have enough workers, so we're going to see how we're doing here. We're doing okay on our jobs, but we're going to plop in some more. If he wants workers, we're going to give him workers. There you go. See how you like apples? How do you like them apples? Sorry, that's a bad movie reference there. Well, it was a good movie, but I shouldn't be making movie references, I don't guess. Well, they're not happy over there, and you can't destroy it when you got a different tool selection. So let's go ahead and do our water that we intended to do, and destroy that abandoned house. See how we're doing on our jobs. We're still holding pretty good. We've got a little more jobs than we do people, so than we do people employed. So there's room for those people to go to work, and we're gonna make sure they have plenty of room to go to work. Let's go ahead and fill in that little area there, and let's take a look at what we've got. Don't see very many complaints. Let's bring that road on out a little bit and get this grid a little more established, and made a little bit of an error on oh, not an error, but an adjustment there to reestablish my grid. So I've kind of got that odd shaped little square there. Well, not square, polygon block, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. We seek perfection, but we've got to understand we're not ever going to really achieve it. Alright, I'm feeling pretty confident that I've got enough educated people to meet what the commercial demand we've got. And man, we've still got just a ton of industrial demand, a ton of it. So we're going to have to do something about that. And there you can see that our little odd-shaped deal. So I'm going to bring a road in here, and it gives us some odd-shaped areas there for them to build in. So we'll get a more of a variety. Of course, complaining about I ain't got no water. I didn't bring my water over good enough. So we bring that over 440, bring it up there where it connects. Now we come out. I should have started that a little bit higher up, because now we've got a strip there that's got no water coverage, and that's gonna come back and bite us later on, I believe. But we'll let it bump as it is for now. Okay, let's take a look at how we're doing, people. Yeah, we've still got about 250 jobs, 275 jobs more, or unfilled jobs, which isn't bad when you've got a population of 4,000, I guess. In real life it would be bad, but I guess in the game it's not bad. So let's go ahead and drop some park over here, try to get these guys' land values up a little bit. And they're complaining about they don't have enough workers. Well, so that means we're going to need some more residential zone, but we're going to tend to that, their needs for land value. And you see, it doesn't really do much for their land value. Oh, we got dead people. I see dead people. Now, cemeteries are just, to me in this game, are just really weird, because it makes people around them happy. Most places I've been in, with a few exceptions, the cemeteries, what do you mean? You ain't got no trash pickup. Oh, the trash is getting full. Okay, so we're going to drop in another landfill over here. There, landfill usage is back down. Looks like our education's doing alright. Let's kind of check some of this stuff. Fire safety, they're not doing too great down here, so we'll put in a fire department, especially for the middle class neighborhood. Well, that takes care of them, so everybody's got fire coverage. Industry, of course, is not happy with what they've got, but they never are on that. Crime, police has got us covered. We're all right. Population, we've got some unfilled jobs. There's jobs for them to move into. Well, it looks like our city's coming along pretty good. It's a lot better than Chiba City was at this point, and with a lot shorter video. And I had a lot more fun building this. We've got our little bedroom community over here. It's looking pretty good. We've got our bridge going across. We've still got room to build mid and late game infrastructure there. So we're going to save this. This is Lico City, named for Lico Gaming. And thank you very much for watching the video.